he might have a very short fuse for a background guy.
3 days to make that potato salad. 3 days!
I'd say, other than chocolate, I think the other Tom crash outs were pretty valid. Took him 3 days to make that potato salad. You're going to insult the man's temper? You know how long 3 days is to work on a potato salad? How does this even happen? How does it, like, what series of decisions leads to this? I don't get it. I don't understand. Did Susie Groove actually do that? No, she did not. Of course not. What is that thumbnail? I actually really don't know. You know, sometimes with SpongeTruths, I don't actually know what the video is going to be. Like sometimes you can tell, sometimes you can just guess, you know. This new one that they just did, how much is SpongeBob's house worth? It's going to be like a No Villains Are Safe ripoff. How much is SpongeBob's house worth, you know? It's going to just recap episodes, say, wow, that costs this or whatever, and it's going to just be meaningless. Like, I can kind of tell what this video is immediately. This one? What? I am so intrigued as to what this video is that I think I just need to get right into it, and then we'll talk about shocking thumbnails. I'm going to discuss shocking thumbnails and why they get clicks and why they do it and all that sort of stuff. We're going to get into that. But I just need to know what the video is actually about. Like, I'm too curious. So I'm going to skip the preamble. We're going to go right into it and we'll talk about some of that later. Look at the clarinet. Look at how the PNG on the bottom, it has like marks from like it didn't fully remove whatever was the background of the PNG. Just embarrassing. Just embarrassing. Like, you know, if you saw a mistake like that in one of my videos, you know it'd be an honest mistake. This is just because it's some overworked editor. Like, you know, like that's why I think why we can criticize stuff like this. Anyway, I've probably made that criticism a million times in other SpongeTruths videos, but just needed to clown on it in the first 8 seconds too.
The show has called these fish, or underwater creatures, incidentals. But if you're watching a ton of SpongeBob, like me, after going through way too many episodes, you actually start watching.
After going through way too many episodes, they've never watched this show. They've never watched this show. Never seen an episode. No, they probably watched the show, but like they just like, they do not know this show. Like acting like they've watched all of it. You know, it's just that we know the strategy, right? It's the same as the No Villains Are Safe. I spent all week watching the Family Guy.
If there's a beach, there's a good chance Larry's the one lifeguarding it, which is exactly his job in.
Larry's not an incidental. Also, why? Wait, what? Where did that come from?
Beach, there's a good chance Larry's the one.
That's Scooter. That's Scooter, not Larry. If there's a beach, it's a good chance Larry, who's not an incidental. You go over all this of like incidental this. Larry's not an incidental. Like Larry's a minor character. Even the thumbnail, the weird thumbnail, it didn't all three of those characters. No, the third character I guess would be an incidental. The one who said was a detective. It's the guy from Chocolate with Nuts. Like, I guess he's major to that episode. Wait, is that even an incidental? I think I don't think that character is an incidental. I guess it could be. Like, I guess they could reuse him as an incidental, but I think that character was designed for that episode. Like, those are not incidentals. Nobby's not an incidental. The Susie Groove fish is not an incidental. They're important to the plot of their episodes. Like, I know, like, the kind of the line between, like, incidental and, like, minor character, main character, I know it can get a little blurry at times, especially if you take, like, a character who was a major character in an earlier episode. I was talking about this, how, like, a lot of background characters now are, like, characters that were important characters in previous episodes. Like, for example, Howard Blandy from Selling Out was in a season 17 episode. Like, he just, like, appeared in the background. And I commented on it in one of my recent videos, and it's like Howard Blandy was not an incidental in the first episode that he appeared in Selling Out. That wouldn't make him an incidental. He's that would make him a supporting character or a minor character or something like that. And but he's an incidental in that episode because he came back later. So like you can kind of like have that line with like something like Score. But Larry was never an incidental. Larry might appear in the background group because Larry's not like one of the big characters, but he's a minor character at least, you know, like weird.
Lifeguarding it, which is exactly his job in SpongeGuard on Duty. And
wait, what?
Who could forget his entrance in A Life in a Day?
Wait, hold up.
Bring up on a motorcycle telling everyone.
Oh,
his
that was
interest
so
regarding
funny.
it,
Oh, it was
a
just an
secret
error.
romance.
Look.
If there's a beach, there's a good chance
They just left this footage in, bro. They just left this footage in. SpongeTruths. Look at this.
Larry's the one lifeguarding it, which is exactly
So there was Larry footage behind it. So it's not even the mistake. So the mistake wasn't that they thought that Larry was Scooter, which I was pretty sure they wouldn't. Even for SpongeTruths, that would be shocking. But what did happen is
his job in SpongeGuard on duty. And who could forget his entrance in A Life in a Day, roaring up on a
just leaving that in there.
motorcycle, telling
Look at that, it
everyone
just cut out. Okay. All right, but what did it actually say? Because I was so distracted by that.
Larry's the one lifeguarding it, which is exactly his job in SpongeGuard on duty. And
His job in SpongeGuard on duty.
who could forget his entrance in A Life in a Day, roaring up on a motorcycle, telling everyone to live like Larry. A line we used to love to quote back in the day. Larry's whole identity is muscle.
Okay, why? Wait, it's like actually like lumping in Larry as an incidental. It's like not understanding the difference, like genuinely.
Or really, any job that needs muscle. Lifeguard.
What is like actually the definition of incidental? Because I don't really use I call them background fish because I think of it like background actor. So that's generally what I think. But incidental is like an animation term, right? What is an incidental character? Get out of here, overview. How and why to use incidental characters in your novel. Oh, look. Okay, so it's not a it's funny that I don't specifically know this, but like I mean I don't know everything off the top of my head. Like this is why we look at stuff. Little definition here. So someone fussy librarian says incidental characters not to be confused with minor ones could be removed from a novel and not totally tear the fabric of its plot apart. But that said, these characters are not simply filler. When used properly, they do serve a specific purpose for the narrative. Okay, that's an incidental character. So that would apply to like the background fish. You take background fish in SpongeBob. All right, let's take SpongeTruths for example. Now let's take Tom in Chocolate with Nuts as an incidental. Tom is an incidental. So Tom's role in Chocolate with Nuts is important to the plot. Like if you removed him from the story, then the story would not be the same. So he's almost not an incidental in that episode. But in like other episodes where he's just in the group or is, you know, among a crowd, you know, like if is he here? Is SpongeTruths here? Yeah, there he is. Look, there's SpongeTruths. I call him SpongeTruths now. There's Tom. You know, if he's just like in a crowd, like this fish could have just been replaced. Like if he was just a different fish that isn't in this scene, you know, let's see one that's not here. All right, I don't see the fish, you know, the fish that waves that goes, hey, SpongeBob's back. If you take that fish and you replace him with Tom, the scene would be no different. The impact of the scene would not be would not be different. That's what would make him an incidental. So in that episode in Chocolate with Nuts, he actually kind of transcends being an incidental. But because he's an incidental in other episodes, you know, you kind of have this sort of thing. Also, in Chocolate with Nuts, I don't know if this necessarily makes him an incidental, but in Chocolate with Nuts, you remove Tom. Let's say it's not Tom that goes chocolate. Let's say it's this dude, this blue dude. Let's say he's the chocolate fish. Is the episode really that much different? Story-wise, no. Maybe there's a couple of things. Maybe character design-wise, the artists were like, well, this fish is the funniest fish to go chocolate just because of the way he looks. Like maybe there's certain things about Tom that makes him a funnier candidate for chocolate guy. Like for example, like this dude, this big buff guy would not be as funny if he was the chocolate guy. He would not be funny because he's already buff. He's already intimidating. So like him chasing after SpongeBob and Patrick is not as funny as a normal looking dude like Tom chasing after SpongeBob and Patrick. Likewise, if it were this little like kind of nerdy looking fish with glasses here, that would be less funny because he'd be like too geeky. It'd be that sort of thing where it's like, oh, it's like a geeky guy who's running after SpongeBob and Patrick. Like they're afraid of him, but he's geeky. Like it would be like Tom was the right choice. Maybe there's a couple of other fish that would have been fine in the role that would have been like the normal guy, but Tom was the one they selected. But if you could replace him, like you could kind of generally, doesn't matter as much. I don't think that counts though as could be removed from the story because the role still would need to be filled by someone. So technically he's kind of not an incidental there, but calling Tom an incidental flippantly is fine because in most episodes he is an incidental. He is not important to the plot. He's just in the background. I guess a background character would be important to the plot in the sense that they're the crowd or they're the mob. You know, my very first video on the channel was the importance of the background fish and why they matter. You know what I mean? But Larry is just not an incidental. Like Larry is definitionally is not an incidental, has never been an incidental. He's maybe sometimes been in the crowd, but even then, because he's already an established character, you can't call like is Mr. Krabs an incidental because in Bubble Buddy he's now just a part of the crowd that tries to pop Bubble Buddy. You know, it's ridiculous. Like it's just using definitions wrong, which makes people, you know, like, again, they're not easy definitions. Even I'm like looking them up and trying to figure them out. But like when you're just kind of flippantly saying, oh, this character's an incidental because you're trying to bump up the numbers on your YouTube video that your editor left in a clip from My Pretty Seahorse in for some reason. Like this is why only people who have knowledge should make videos. Like, and that's the problem with AI is it gives power to people who don't understand any of this to make videos when they shouldn't have power to make videos. Like a video like this shouldn't exist.
So naturally, anytime we see a Jim in Bikini Bottom, we assume Larry's a regular, or better yet, the owner, which is exactly what he becomes in Larry's Gym in season 9. Strongest guy in town is also the weirdest one in the room. But the show can never just let a character be cool. Take roller cowards. SpongeBob and Patrick are too scared to.
What just happened? What are they talking about? Wait, what? They're all over the place.
The strongest guy in season 9. And look.
So Larry has a gym. Why are you saying this? Why are you bringing any of this up? Larry, like this doesn't even have a direction. What is this even saying? I guess that's kind of saying that Larry's weird because he always refers to himself like in the third person now. It just irks me so much in Modern SpongeBob. Larry, I can't stand Larry in Modern SpongeBob. Like more than like most characters in Modern SpongeBob, Larry's actually one that I particularly dislike. I should do a Larry video. Larry's my dad's favorite character. He always thought that the line in Rip Pants where he goes, "You want to go lift some weights?" My dad just thinks that's like the funniest line. So I should probably do a Larry video for my dad. I think he'd like that. Ranking every Larry episode. I know people want me to do it with Bubble Bass. Bubble Bass one will probably be more successful, so I should probably do Bubble Bass first and then Larry.
Let a character be cool. Take roller cowards.
We can't just let a character be cool. Take roller cowards. Is Larry in roller cowards?
SpongeBob and Patrick are too scared to ride the new coaster, and Larry, who's already ridden it.
Oh, Larry's. I okay. I was actually kind of quick to judge that. I was so confused. I thought it was just going on to recap another episode. So it's referring to Larry in roller cowards
and makes them smell his armpit. It's Larry's idea of encouragement. That's the.
Wait, is it saying that was a very in character moment? I don't mind that from Larry. I mean, it's like a little gross, but this is not modern Larry because this is season 4, season 5. It's not modern Larry. Like Larry was a fine character back in this time. He wasn't referring to himself the third person back then. I defend that writing choice. Patrick and SpongeBob are afraid to ride the roller coaster. They see Larry. Larry says he rode the roller coaster. Smell my adrenaline. He's a big, strong guy, you know. That's kind of something that his character would do, and it leans into the story. I see no problem with this writing decision. Other than that, it's a weird thing for a person to do. If a person did that, if your friend did that, you'd be like, dude, what? Stop that. That's weird, creepy. But Larry is a cartoon character, so that's not a criticism.
Turned out to have actual depth. Wait till you meet the guy who secretly had.
Oh, that is actually it. That's literally it. Okay, so I guess like I wasn't too hard on it because the next point was still garbage. They just basically like. Also, what does it have to do with what SpongeBob characters are actually doing in the background? This is just incoherent. So you say Larry, who's not a background character, who's a minor character. I guess it just says what SpongeBob characters are actually. It's not a lie on the title, but why are they introducing incidentals? They're just not understanding any of this. It's just spreading. It's not even media illiteracy. It's just illiteracy. Like it's not even like this is beyond like media illiteracy is more so like not understanding the symbolism and the themes, and media illiteracy is criticizing this scene because it's a weird thing for Larry to do with no broader criticism of the story and like why that affects the story itself. That's what makes it media illiterate. Whereas a media literate criticism is me saying that I think that Larry referring to himself in the third person is a poor writing choice because it doesn't add to his character and it's distracting from the actual story that Larry keeps referring to himself in the third person. It weakens the story itself from being told. That is a media literate criticism. But not understanding the difference between a incidental and a minor character, that's just illiteracy. That's just illiteracy. You might as well just not be able to read at that point. Like, so it's beyond spreading media illiteracy. This video's 17 minutes long. That's long for a SpongeTruths video. They're usually not this length.
Now, some of you might ask already, is Bubble Bass a background character? Well,
no, he's not. I guess he was actually in season 1. He was a different color in April Fool's, but like he's not. He's been upgraded. He's a minor character. I guess he had no lines and fun. Wait, why are you asking that about Bubble Bass but not about Larry? Larry's more not a background character than Bubble Bass. Larry was important to the plot in many episodes. I know they were introduced at around the same time. They're both season 1 characters, but the difference is that Larry was consistently in the show from season 1 onward. But Bubble Bass was in season 1 and then was not in the show for a long time. And then they brought him back in Modern SpongeBob. So Bubble Bass is kind of a modern SpongeBob character in that way, even though he was introduced in season 1. Whereas Larry would be like, I guess it's saying that because Larry was around for so much longer that Larry had a lot more scenes where Larry was kind of just in the crowd. Whereas Bubble Bass didn't have that. Bubble Bass didn't have many scenes where he was just in the crowd. So maybe that's why it's questioning if Bubble Bass was a background character, whereas Larry, it just kind of took at face value. It's weird.
Well, the answers are yes and no. And whether you...
The answer is no. It's not ambiguous. It's no. He's not a background character. He's a character who is established, who may be in the background, who may be in a crowd of people, but that does not mean he is a background character. Means a character that was designed to be in the background. And that character who is designed to be in the background may be elevated because of the way SpongeBob is structured, hence Tom and Chocolate with Nuts. But Bubble Bass would go the other direction. Bubble Bass was created as a minor character, as a character who is important to the plot of a specific episode, but isn't a constant recurring character, and could maybe be in some episodes in the crowd. That's the difference.
He's a pure smug menace who orders the impossible patty only to hide the pickles under his own tongue to convince Smug Menace, who orders the impossible patty only to...
Who orders the impossible patty...
to hide the pickles under his own tongue to convince...
Oh, that's such an AI tell right there. So it said Bubble Bass ordered the impossible patty only to hide the pickles under its tongue. So it's mixing up two things. So when Bubble Bass first walks in, he orders the like whatever on a raft, burn it and make it swim. It's a long, he has that long description, that like that whole thing, which is actually like a real way to order a sandwich, but it sounds like really absurd. So he orders it all crazy. So that's what the AI is seeing as the impossible burger. But SpongeBob doesn't serve him that burger. He just shows up. He just has a normal Krabby Patty. He goes in the window and he says, I already got it, Squidward. It's just a Krabby Patty. It's not like the special burger with all the crazy stuff on it that he ordered. So like it being an impossible Krabby Patty is not relevant to the story. That's just a way of establishing him as a character who's really obnoxious that he ordered the burger in that way. But then after that, it being an impossible burger is not brought up again. It's that it's a normal burger and he hides the pickles under his tongue to mess with SpongeBob. That is the story. But AI doesn't get that. It didn't get that context. It just saw impossible burger in the order and it put it in there. A human would not make that mistake because a human wouldn't call it an impossible patty. It's like the no villains are safe thing with the blue shell player. It's the kind of mistake where even if you go over the script and try to take out mistakes, which I do think SpongeTruths does, because I think that they would make more mistakes, because AI makes a lot of mistakes if you just have AI write a script immediately, unless it like pays for a better version. I tested it out. People got mad at me for that. They were like, they did well because of like the water usage and all that. But it's like, come on, guys. Like, if I'm trying to test out what it looks like, I feel like it's kind of to use a water analogy, drop in the bucket if I do it to educate people compared to the millions of prompts that other people are doing every day to say thank you to it or whatever. But anyway, I don't do it all the time. It's like, it's not that useful, to be honest. Like me sitting here and like typing into a prompt and showing you what comes out. It's not super useful, so I don't do it all the time. I do it very sparingly. But anyway, like it makes a lot of mistakes. So SpongeTruths either has to go through and edit out mistakes, or maybe if you pay for AI, you get less mistakes. I don't know. I don't pay for AI. Like, even for research, that'd be a bit much for me. But that's the kind of mistake where even if you had a writer, even if you had someone who went in and went over the video, you would not be able to catch that. If you don't know SpongeBob, you would not write that line, because you wouldn't know the show well enough to say, oh yeah, you ordered this impossible burger for SpongeBob to hide the pickles. If you knew the show, you wouldn't write that either, because you would know that those things aren't related. But when AI writes it and a person looks at it to edit it, because the person who's looking at it doesn't really know the show that well, they're not going to identify that that's wrong. And that's why we get this.
Good news is Bubble Bass finally comes back as a real character around season 9 as something
good news is
much funnier. Modern Bubble Bass lives in his mom's basement. We learn.
So wait, he likes Bubble Bass? Wait, isn't there another SpongeTruths video where he says he hates Bubble Bass? You're saying that Bubble Bass almost destroyed SpongeBob like 4 videos ago. Will you change your mind?
He collects action figures and comics, plays nerdy board games.
Just describing Bubble Bass as a character. Yes, we get it. Yeah, we get it. He's like a nerd collector guy. We know.
And plays pretend superheroes in his spare time.
How many? The lists, man.
In Swamp Mates, we find out he's older than 23, and that.
Wait, what was the point of saying the line he was talking about?
Action figures and.
He was saying.
Move for him, as far as I.
He was saying he makes SpongeBob and Patrick move for him, and it says it with that tone, like it's but again, criticizing the character, like, yes, the plot of the episode.
He dreams of hosting his own talk show. He just never does anything about it. He'd rather sit in the dark.
It's just describing like things about the character. Like, this is actually such a nothing video.
Which ironically sounds like the combination of Patrick and Squidward. Now that you think about it, Bubble Bass's design looks like if Patrick and Squidward became one guy. You know, body of Patrick, color of Squidward. No?
What? No. No, I don't know what. I don't know what you're talking about.
And for over 20 years, his entire personality was about 2 words.
My leg!
It certainly was not. For over 20 years, his personality was about 2 words. No, it wasn't. His personality was about my leg only really since the My Leg episode. I don't know how long ago oh no, they started bringing back the My Leg gag in modern SpongeBob, at least. I don't know when they started doing it a lot, but it's not been 20 years. The My Leg thing was watch my My Leg video. I did a whole thing about it. So in the show, especially because of the My Leg episode, it's communicated that Fred like breaks his leg all the time. That's like his whole thing. But it really wasn't. There's a lot of things that Fred did in early SpongeBob, because he was a very prominent incidental. Like, even among background characters, he is very prominent. Like, he sings the "Hey All You People" song in Jellyfish Hunter. Like he sings that whole song. He wouldn't be able to do that now, because he'd have to like break his leg at the end and go "My Leg." Like, he used to do stuff that wasn't My Leg when he would show up. So it's like confusing how the show treats him, with it being like it was like that all the time.
Reamed for every time Bikini Bottom.
What is this footage? This is from like the SpongeBob. This is like from the official SpongeBob, right? Where it's like a day in the life of Fred. Is that what this is? Let me find it. I'm sure that's what this is. An entire day with Fred My Leg the fish. Yeah, look, see, 7 8. So it's just from the. Oh, look, here's a nice example of what I was talking about. Look, see, Fred did like if this were modern SpongeBob, if this episode were a modern SpongeBob, Fred would have had to go my leg after he got hit by the stuff, but he could do other stuff back then. He could be an actual incidental, and I guess he wasn't an actual character. That's kind of the point, is he was background character, but he could do stuff that wasn't just. Whenever you see Fred in modern SpongeBob, it's like, oh, he's gonna do the leg thing. I hate it so much. It's just such awful writing. Like I don't know why they don't know that, like, it just does not work. But SpongeTruths just took that footage from the official SpongeBob. It doesn't read here. Like, it's just confusing. Like, you should, like, it's so lazy. It just found the footage from the SpongeBob official and just put it into the video, because it's like, I guess that's what you would put there. Like, just fundamentally does not care about you. You have to have contempt for your audience to do that, to be like, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to put that in, whatever. They'll watch it anyway. But it looks like they aren't. SpongeTruths is losing views. So, you know, SpongeTruths, maybe you should have thought about this stuff.
And then season 11 gave Fred his own episode.
This is a very recap heavy SpongeTruths video. Like, we haven't seen a whole lot of recapping from SpongeTruths, right? SpongeTruths isn't really a big like recap channel. It's more of No Villains Are Safe is like the recapping. It's actually why SpongeTruths is a little more fun to cover, despite the fact that No Villains Are Safe, I think, is the more dangerous channel socially. Because like, I try to cover No Villains Are Safe, they do like a shocking thumbnail or something, and then I like go into the video, and it's just nothing. It's just nothing content, where it's just recapping the episodes. I don't have that much to say when I cover a No Villains Are Safe video. But like, SpongeTruths is a little less with the recapping. Let's see, what was the video on SpongeTruths is finished? Yeah, this was like the age stuff. When else did I cover it? Modern Patrick would not be friends with classic. Like, that one tried to make an opinion. Like, they tried to have an opinion, that one, when they did the classic Patrick wouldn't be friends with modern Patrick. The politics one, like, it was awful, but it was the most shallow. Like, all these videos are terrible, by the way, but they weren't recapping. Like, the politics one was taking, saying like Patrick is communism because like he'll like take your food out of your fridge or whatever. You know, remember that one? The homophobia one was just them being homophobic. You know, I mean, like, it's homophobia. It's worse, you know, than I'd say that's worse than recapping an episode, but it wasn't recapping. Childish moments, that was a bit of recapping, right? I would think. Narlene had a lot of recapping in that one. I'm just trying to think. But they don't recap a lot. Like, SpongeTruths generally tries to make points. I think that's why SpongeTruths has had a little bit more longevity, because they don't just do recapping. I mean, I guess No Villains Are Safe is a bigger channel and they basically just recap, but No Villains Are Safe also has a lot more resources. But I think SpongeTruths has been able to break through because they are good at making their videos seem like they're saying more than they're actually saying. I think whoever is behind it is at the very least aware of that. It is at the very least has an understanding of this has to have some kind of thing that gets people's attention. They just have no capacity of how to do that because they're a tech bro grifter idiot. So like, they don't know how to actually do it, but they're aware that it actually is something. They're aware that it's something that people will want to see.
Fred breaks his leg on purpose because every time
recapping, it's just recapping. It's a lot of recapping.
I have to know this guy. It's me, Tom.
Oh, he acknowledged it. Guys, he actually acknowledged it.
Shorter. I mean, come on. You have to know this guy. It's me, Tom. Incidental 6.
Someone was saying earlier, there was another SpongeTruths video where Tom was like a part of the video, where like I commented on Tom as a character. And they said that SpongeTruths didn't acknowledge that they're SpongeTruths. I think that's the first meta a meta commentary that SpongeTruths is SpongeTruths or SpongeTruths is Tom. I feel like SpongeTruths lately, there's a couple of their, because I used to think that SpongeTruths was just AI script and then it goes just right in with no oversight. I don't know if it's just more lately or if they always have. There definitely are some that I feel like some of the older SpongeTruths videos, they had to have had very little human input. I feel like they're trying to hide it a bit more. So I'm seeing a bit more stuff that feels like it's not AI in the SpongeTruths videos. But the person behind it has no concept of SpongeBob like as a show, or just doesn't know enough about SpongeBob to make meaningful content about it. So they have to use AI for so much of it. But I'm seeing things like where they, like, you'd have to go out of your way to say that. Like, obviously an AI wouldn't go, it's me, Tom, like I'm Tom. Like it wouldn't know that your channel avatar is that fish. So that would have to be written in. Do you think SpongeTruths has seen your videos on them? I don't think so. I doubt it. Always willing to talk, SpongeTruths. If you think that I'm being too hard on you, if you are saying you're not AI and I'm totally blowing hot air, I'd interview SpongeTruths. And I'd be pretty nice, honestly, even if I did interview SpongeTruths. Like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Attack him? You know, like I want to hear his side. You know, I wouldn't want to make him get defensive. I'd basically want to hear what he has to say, and then I'd decide if I think he's lying. You know, like they'll probably say, "Oh, I'm not AI because this, that, and the other thing," but then I could just afterwards be like, "Yeah, I think they're lying." I got 2 comments recently, not from SpongeTruths, but I got one about No Villains Are Safe and one about Alex Griffin. And they said, one said I'm an editor and one said I'm a writer for, I don't remember which was which, but for the channel. And they said that they're not AI. And I replied, I'm like, "Do you want to do an interview? Like, just tell me." No response. Just no response at all. So that's disappointing because I would have loved that. It would have been good content to interview them. It's pretty unlikely that SpongeTruths would, because how can they defend this? They would only make it worse. You can't go on and have me interview. He's not going to clear his name. He'd be lying. He does the things that I say that he does. Like, my criticism of him is valid. That's why Cartoon Corey was able to come on and do an interview, because Cartoon Corey was making valid content. He was like the things that I was skeptical about with Cartoon Corey and the stuff that we were skeptical about, me and the audience, was not true. And he was able to come on. He was able to talk about it. How would that work with SpongeTruth? We've seen the AI tells. We've seen all of it. We've seen the images that come up. We've seen it getting things wrong and all this sort of stuff. Like, there's no way to, you know, even the voice too. Like, you know, I interview SpongeTruth, the person behind it. They can't replicate this voice, this AI voice. Like, what are they going to do? Is the whole interview going to be like the AI voice saying things as a filter? You know, like, it's going to be a person with a completely different voice.
He might have a very short fuse for a background guy, especially when it comes to food.
3 days to make that potato salad. 3 days!
I'd say, other than chocolate, I think the other Tom crash outs were pretty valid. Took him 3 days to make that potato salad. You're going to insult the man's temper? You know how long 3 days is to work on a potato salad? It's longer than it takes for me to make my videos. If I spent 3 whole days on a video, and that'd be a pretty long video if I spent 3 whole days on it, and it got destroyed the way that SpongeBob destroyed Tom's potato salad, I'd be way more mad than Tom was. I'm defending Tom in that. And April Fools, he thinks that SpongeBob tried to poison him. What do you put in my drink? Even the chocolate thing, I mean, dude just wanted some chocolate, you know? I mean, he paid for it, you know? Like, I don't know, man. I don't think Tom, you know, now Harold, you know, Harold is next, right? Is that Harold? I think we've seen pretty much what the video is. It introduces a character who's a minor character, and it just recaps things that they did. That's the video. I honestly, I'm almost disappointed. Like, I thought that it was going to be like, especially with the like saying that Susie Groove is a stripper, I thought that it was going to be like fanfic stuff or like theory stuff. SpongeTruths doesn't really do theories anymore, though. That's kind of fallen off. We watched the fanfic one, but the fanfic one was old. You know, when he did like, what if SpongeBob is an alcoholic? What if SpongeBob had a kid? The ones that were just fanfics. Those are old. Like, he doesn't do those anymore. AI voice generators can't yell or else they break, so they make up for it with a whisper. Oh, like when he said chocolate?
So the lovable chocolate guy might actually...
Oh, so you're saying that that's an AI tell that it whispered? So like if I went the lovable chocolate guy, like if I did it like that, I mean, did I just blow out the mic? You saying that's a tell that's an AI voice? Doesn't this exact voice, isn't this a common AI voice? Because isn't there a way to like clone someone's voice? Like this is what Cartoon Corey was talking about. Cartoon Corey turned down, Grapple wanted to clone Cartoon Corey's voice for AI, to do like AI voice, but it sounded like Cartoon Corey. And he said, no. Don't some of these AI channels like do that? But like this voice is like one you can find. What's the other one that people say has the same voice? Was it Toon that has SpongeTruth's voice?
We've all seen, well...
Oh yeah. Yeah, look, listen. So this is another channel. So Toon. I don't know. Is it a voice actor? I don't know that much about this channel, but this has been accused of being an AI channel as well. I just don't know enough about it to say.
We've all seen well-written genocidal villains like Aku, Lord Shen, Fire Lord Ozai.
Look, it's the same voice in this other channel. There's no credit of a voice actor. Well, No Villains Are Safe doesn't credit a voice actor either, huh? Yeah, it's weird, because I think No Villains Are Safe does use a voice actor. Why don't they credit them? Anyway, it has the same voice as SpongeTruths.
The Wake Up episode.
Wait, is it always, because SpongeTruths has had different narrators. Was it a couple months ago? Were they using the other one?
Have you ever wondered why?
No, they always use that one. If anyone has any more info about the voices and where they come from, and if they're common AI voices, what the source is, if anyone has that, just let me know. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to go more into it. Okay, all right. So that's the end there. I just skipped kind of ahead to the end. We all know what the rest of the video was, but I looked at every character it covers. When these three characters from the thumbnail are not even talked about in the video. What the heck, man? Slave, stripper, detective. Like, you didn't even deliver on the promise of telling me how Nobby's a slave and how Susie Groove is a stripper. Or how this dude's a detective, which... How does this even happen? How does it... Like, what series of decisions leads to this? I don't get it. I don't understand. So here's why they did this thumbnail. We all know why. It's because it's shocking. It's shocking to put this character, this Susie Groove character. Apparently Susie Groove, people reacted weirdly to her. Like, because she was, you know, like she was the dance instructor from the episode Tango Tangle. So she did a lot of like hip swivels or whatever, you know. People were into her. Is I guess what I would say, how I would put it. So putting stripper above this character that has that kind of reputation, it's a provocative thumbnail. It's also not true. Like, it's not a thing in the episode. It's actually kind of like not understanding the episode. She was a dance instructor. So it's also a little sexist, to be honest, saying that a woman who is a dance instructor who is dressed comfortably, by the way, that's how I would describe how I did theater. So like, I guess that's why she doesn't really faze me. I grew up in theater. So seeing people dress like that who are in dance is like, yeah, that's how people dress when they dance, because you have to move a lot and it's hard. So you wear sweatpants and a not very restrictive top. Kind of a little sexist to go stripper to that. I'm not saying it was intentionally sexist. I know the reason they did it was it's just because they were like, a character who dances and people feel things towards, I'm going to call her a stripper. And that's the logic. But I'm just saying that is sexist. Like, it's internalized sexism. Like, if that description of Susie Groove made sense to you and you didn't consider that, I'm just, it doesn't mean you're a bad person or anything. It just means that it's not something that you have considered. And I think that you would be wise to consider that, to actually think about that, to think about, oh yeah, why do I think that when a woman is dressed the way that she is and is doing something that is a normal action like dancing, why do I have that association? Because it's an implicit association. And if we all just kind of took a second to think about those sorts of things and understand why we have that association, I think we'd all be better off for it. So that's why they put that there. And then slave is like, it's just like, they just use a kind of I don't know. I don't know. We want to dive deep into, I think it's just they used a character. He like doesn't talk. He's very like, you know, he's kind of represented as a more lower class individual. So like, I guess just kind of putting that and being like, yeah, slave. It's just like, it's just a way of throwing it in. And then detective, I think, is just because they needed a third one. And I think the third one being detective is a part of it because it's a way of giving plausible deniability to the whole section. But let's say the third one was shocking and akin to what stripper is. Then the whole thumbnail's shocking. Oh, they made just one shocking thumbnail. But the third one being detective, see, that's a part of it. It gives plausible deniability. Oh, like I just think Nobby's a slave. Oh, I just think Susie Groove is a stripper. Oh, I think this guy's a detective too. You know, it's just a part of the whole game of making provocative. And the whole point of this is to get clicks. It's the whole reason for it. It's just one of many tactics to get clicks. It's not even a particularly effective tactic, to be honest. That like if we go to most popular, okay, we got alternate colored characters is most popular. We got a weird Patrick. This thing is not dumb. We got SB129, Spongehenge. We got an alternate Conch Street. Alternate Conch Street is, we'll talk about alternate Conch Street in a second. That strategy. Pearl Theory. I'm not seeing anything provocative. What's the most popular provocative thumbnail? Still going. Alternate color characters. That weird one with the skip this gay. Oh, this is the other homophobic video that also talks about Rockabye by Valve like the other one. Yeah, there's another homophobic SpongeTruths video, guys. There's no point in going over. It's the same stuff I say in the other one. Gross thumbnail. Here it is. This is the most viewed provocative thumbnail. The most heavily censored episodes of SpongeBob ever. It's a recent one, actually. It's only 200K views. For SpongeTruths, that's above average for SpongeTruths, sure, but it's not one of their like top ones. I went over this one a while ago. Like, it's not like it's a super slam dunk thing, but I think in the mind of the person behind SpongeTruths, I think that they think it is. Like, they think it's going to do that. And we can see they're doing alternate Conch Street. They definitely have recognized that alternate Conch Street gets them views. It's actually their best performing video in recent memory with 43K views as an alternate Conch Street. So they just tried to do it again a few videos later to try and get it because it's like the only thing that seems to be working for them. I'm not thrilled that they got a 43K views recently because when I covered their downfall, I have a video that's all about how like SpongeTruths is finished or whatever. And I think that they still are. Like, I don't think that this 43K being a high for them, I don't think that's good for a channel with 147,000 subscribers. I think they're still in a lot of trouble. This is a thumbnail for a stream I did not too long ago. For what was, as you can see, they changed the thumbnail. This video, what SpongeBob characters sound like in other languages, about SpongeTruths being racist. And I don't think I'm going to edit that one into a segment. It actually didn't make for a great video, to be honest. It's still up in the unlisted playlist on the main channel. I don't delete them, so you go watch it if you'd like. I just didn't think I really had that much to say on it. And also that video, funnily enough, that stream got, I guess, limited monetized. Something happened with the monetization on it. It's never happened to me before. I think it has to do with this one over here with the SpongeBob. I discussed a little bit with the Iran flag here and what happened, and why I thought that this was racist. And I think YouTube saw that as, I guess, discussing war or sensitive events or something like that. So I got a little 1984 on that one. At least in the actual 1984, at least in the book, they're honest when they just say you're not allowed to say that because of the law. But in our 1984 world, it's oh, you can't say that because it's not advertiser friendly. So you're just deterred from saying it. Anyway. So yeah, that's probably what happened too. But basically in this video, I pondered if the racist thumbnail was because the person behind SpongeTruths, who I am pretty sure the people behind these channels are tech bros. So I pondered that the person behind SpongeTruths was just genuinely racist. Like they were someone who genuinely believes in racism. Like I just think that because tech bros are often like that, they're bullies. And bullying and racism, those things go hand in hand. I mean, what is racism but bullying an entire group of people? You know, it's like that's basically what it is. But I think there can be an element of like wanting something to be shocking to get the views. And there's also the fact that they change the thumbnails afterwards. Like that, like they put the flags and it's still racist. Like it's more, I guess it's more incoherent than racist without the flags. Cause you still have the like, you know, like without the flags, like this, you know, what do these ones on the end actually represent if you don't have the flags? Like they should have just made a new thumbnail where it should have just been the Patrick and the SpongeBob. Even it should have just been the Patrick, to be honest. Patrick is the one that looks the most like he's speaking another language. And I mean, Patrick is a little bit of a stereotype here, with the, like, you know, with the, he's a little bit of a French stereotype here, but I'm pretty sure Patrick's thing is not really considered offensive. Probably would have been fine for this video, if they just did that. But I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what the game is. It's also the homophobic video. You know, like it didn't look like that. It actually looked like, well, I documented the original. Like there's the original thumbnail. You can see it in the AI bigotry. Am I blocking it? No. Yeah, you can see it in the AI bigotry one. That's the original homophobic thumbnail. And then he changed it. Like they change it when they get hate. I guess they didn't change the stripper one. I even screenshotted it because I thought that they were going to. So I guess they didn't change the provocative ones, but I'm trying to figure it out. Changing it could just be that like I'm trying to read into some kind of strategy when really the person behind SpongeTruths is just an idiot. And they're kind of racist, so they wanted to put out a thumbnail with like flags over, you know, insensitive stereotypes. And because they wanted to hurt people, and then they put it out, and then a little bit of time passed and they got hate comments on it. They're like, ooh, this is too much. It's gonna be bad for my bottom line. And they changed it. And maybe that's really just it. Maybe that's all that it is. Maybe I'm the one who shouldn't be like thinking. Maybe I'm the one who shouldn't be thinking that there's some broader strategy here. All right. Should we do how much is SpongeBob's house worth? We're talking about how SpongeTruth is getting desperate. This is a pretty desperate video. You know, it's a No Villains Are Safe ripoff. Look, it's already kind of been done. Like, look, what is the cost of living in Bikini Bottom? How much money does SpongeBob really have? So it's just a ripoff of No Villains Are Safe. Let's see what it is. Let's see what's got in store.
Add up the building. Add up everything inside it. Just for the fact that this car...
I'd have to add up everything inside it. If it's how much is SpongeBob's house worth? You don't have to... If you buy a house, you don't buy the stuff in it. It's your stuff.
SpongeBob got this pineapple as free in the episode Home Sweet Pineapple, so we technically could count this one as 0. But then there's also a few episodes about SpongeBob.
What? See, this is the problem with videos like this. Is like he got it for free because it grew out of a seed, but like there's also another episode where it just... You're not going to be like, you're just asking a question that doesn't really have a real answer. It's the same thing with the No Villains Are Safe. Like, what is SpongeBob's prison sentence or whatever? And it's like, well, you can't really know. You can't really know because it's not a real world. It's a cartoon world where there's cartoon logic, and the things that happen within the episodes are to serve a story. And like, how do we account for some of these variables, you know, of like certain things? Like, it just comes from a point. It just gets to a point where there is no reason to answer these questions. There's a time for theorizing. There's a time for saying, what would this character what would happen if this character was charged for their crimes? There's even a time to say, how much money does this character have? Okay, like there are valid reasons to make videos like this, but there does have to be a time where you're sitting there and you're trying to figure out, what did SpongeBob's pineapple cost as a house? And you just realize there's too many variables to make it a real video. I'm sorry. I don't see it. And if there is someone who could make that an actual entertaining video, it's not SpongeTruths.
$1,000 is worth about $1.93.
Bro wants to be game theory so bad. Like,
A year $2,000 is worth about $1.93 now. Prices have gone up about 93
What did that-
so
what?
when you with our
I'm sorry?
dollars to about $600,000. See,
look at the wrong.
being prime bikini bottom real estate, and the number jumped to about $600,000.
$600,000. It missed a zero. Like, none of this is accurate, obviously. This is all not, like, you want to be film theory, but like they did their research, you know? You can't just be film theory by asking an AI to write you a video on it. Like, you have to do actually a lot of work to make that kind of channel. Also, if you are that channel, if you are film theory, your whole channel needs to be that. Why are you doing one episode? Why are you doing one video before where you're just recapping background characters, and now you're like, what's SpongeBob's house cost? Like, these are all over the place. These are not the same kind of videos. Like, maybe you could make it like a special thing. Like, I'm planning on doing a theory video, and it's going to be like kind of an event that it's like, oh, I usually cover like episodes and stuff, but I'm going to do a theory video. But I'm also tying it into how my videos are usually structured. I'm tying it into my video philosophy. Like, there are things that I'm doing with me making a theory video that are related to my channel. Whereas like SpongeTruths is all over the place.
A year $2,000 is worth about $1.90.
I get it. I get why this was wrong. Using the consumer price index, a year $2,000 is worth $1.93. Okay, so a year, so I thought it was saying a $2,000 is worth $1.93 today. I'm like, that's not how inflation works. So the editor just got it wrong. So it's $1 in the year 2000 is worth $1.93 today. That's what it means. So it's saying that, but SpongeBob didn't buy his house in the year 2000 or 1999 if you're just kind of rounding. SpongeBob already lived in his house. Like, you don't know when he bought his house. So like already again, there's too many variables. Okay. So the whole thing I complained about a little earlier where I was talking about how it was saying all the stuff in it. And I was like, well, that's not valid to determining the price of a house. It's doing it to pad the time. It's doing it to list all of the objects in SpongeBob's house. So the video itself wasn't long enough if it just said, here's what SpongeBob's house would cost. So now it's just listing all the things in his house. It's listing the speakers from the one episode.
SpongeBob owns a sound system.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was in one episode. Or I think it might have been in more episodes, but like, my goodness. This is so dull. Just like, don't watch this for yourself. Like, this is such a waste of 17 minutes of people's lives with this crap. That's the library from Sleepy Time. So that's not SpongeBob's library. That's a library that exists in Gary's dream, where Gary dreams that he's an intellectual and has a big library. That's where my little character is in this thing, is in the library from Sleepy Time. I had to go to the screenshots of that episode to get it, because it's not SpongeBob's library, it's the library from Sleepy Time.
This is arguably the biggest room in the entire house.
Oh, wow. It just thinks that the library from Sleepy Time is SpongeBob's library. I can't believe it made that mistake.
It holds, quote, many shelves containing thousands of books. So let's be conservative and say 1,500 at maybe $12 a book.
And again, I hate you so much, Sponge. Oh, wow. That's like the whole video. Oh, yeah. I guess just what is the house worth would not be a long enough video. Because, yeah, you'd just be like figuring out like trends and prices of like homes and stuff. So he just had to pad it out with this nonsense. Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, it's $270 million, but he works as a fry cook. Away with you, SpongeTruths. Away with you. Yeah, I think SpongeTruths is really failing. I feel like we're gonna see the end of SpongeTruth soon. I don't know. It depends on how long they can keep kicking. You know, at what point do they give up? At what point is it just not enough for them? Because I'm starting to figure out, like, I'm guessing that SpongeTruths, the person behind SpongeTruths, is a tech bro. And I learned this from Cartoon Corey. Cartoon Corey didn't know that SpongeTruths was a tech bro, but Cartoon Corey used to work for a content farm, and the content farm was owned by a tech bro. And I used to assume that SpongeTruths was like someone from a country that would be foreign to me, and that they were like that they were like doing, kind of like a scammer is kind of what I thought SpongeTruth was. And that could still be true to some extent, but I do think that the person behind SpongeTruths is a like kind of wealthy tech bro type. And that's actually kind of good news for the possibility of SpongeTruth failing, of SpongeTruth giving up, because there could come a time where that tech bro, these are people who like invest in NFTs, who invest in like crypto. Like that's like their life, that's what they do. People who make channels like this. And this is just another grift for them. It's a grift economy. If you have a job, if you have a 9 to 5, I want you to think about this while you're working your 9 to 5. You have a particularly bad day. I want you to think about how there are people on this earth right now, many of them, where their whole thing, what they do, instead of what you do at your 9 to 5, what they do is they find ways to put more money in their pocket without providing any good to the world, without contributing anything. This is what the people who own that crap where you like bet on like who's gonna win the World Cup or whatever. I guess that's sports gambling. I guess that's all gambling really, but I'm talking about like even like Kalshi or whatever, where it's like you can bet on like drone strikes or whatever, like whatever that nonsense is. Like this is just people finding ways to like make money without doing anything good, without doing anything. And that's also crypto trading. Heck, that's even kind of stocks trading in a lot of way. I mean, at least in some ways, stocks are supposed to be like you're contributing to like the economy or whatever. But it's all just people finding ways to make money without providing anything, without actually doing their share. And SpongeTruth is just another one of those. Just another one of those. So at what point does the person behind SpongeTruth go, this isn't really enough? Mustard pregnancy we looked at when I covered the theories. Mustard pregnancy was a big theory ripoff. See the white backgrounds and all that. Big white background theory guy. That's mustard pregnancy. And mustard pregnancy is not posted in 10 months. And I remember thinking that was weird. Why did mustard pregnancy give up? What happened? They didn't do so well on their most recent video, sure, but leading up to that, 82K views, okay, 47K, like that was pretty bad, 9.6K. 500K there, 100K there, like 1.3 million, not too far off from 1.3 million views 2 months later, their last video. That's pretty nuts. Like that's pretty nuts. If I got a 1.3 million view video, that would have me sitting pretty for a pretty long time. So what happened? What happened to mustard pregnancy? And what confused me about mustard pregnancy is that I pictured mustard pregnancy as if they were someone like me, but they just didn't care about the content they made. That they were just a person who lived like a normal life, and they wanted some extra cash in their pocket. They didn't want to work a 9 to 5. That was like my thought of what mustard pregnancy was. A foolish thought. Obviously, there's some tech bro who is just throwing money at something to cash in on trends and using AI and all this stuff. And I think even with whatever money they got from this or whatever money they got from these bigger videos that did more for them, I think that whoever was the tech bro behind mustard pregnancy, I think that their portfolio was just showing that mustard pregnancy wasn't giving them enough output. Oh, that AI YouTube thing, I make more off of my crypto. That's probably, or I make more off of my other channel. Maybe they have, these people who own channels like this, they own many channels. So they probably just have other ones that work. So eventually, SpongeTruths, it's, even where we see like 43K here, really they haven't been doing very well. They have not really broken a 20K, 34K here. They just have not really done that much. And eventually, I think the tech bro behind it is just going to be like, it's not worth it. And SpongeTruths will be no more. And I am looking forward to that day when SpongeTruth is gone. Betting on drone strikes. What? You haven't heard of this? This is Kalshi. This is like the whole thing where they bet on, like, it's where you like can bet on anything. Like you bet on like who's going to be the next president or whatever. When the Pope died, they were like, who's going to be the next Pope? And you would bet on who the next Pope was going to be. Like it's nonsense. It's illegitimate. I mean, all gambling should be illegal, by the way. I don't care. There is no legitimate argument for the continued existence of gambling other than it's been implicitly normalized. Oh, it's fun to go to Vegas or Atlantic City. I don't care. Ban it all. I really don't care. I don't care about gambling. I think that it should all be illegal. The only problem with the end of SpongeTruths is that I won't be able to cover them anymore. It's been a good run, but it would be worth it to see the end of this channel, huh? Let's hope for it. SpongeTruths, your days on YouTube are numbered. Bye-bye, SpongeTruths.